everyone. Welcome to this week's show. I am your commissioner and champion, Team Ramrod. With me, as always of late, is Kyle, the GM of Team Rocket.
Peace.
You might know him as the former Caucasaurus holder, but we have a new holder of that award. And I hear it's got a makeover.
It did get a makeover, and I got a call today. It's ready to pick up at the trophy shop. So it's going to look quite a bit different. And what I'm going to propose to the league is that, once it's all said and done, that we have a little trophy presentation for our winner and loser while we watch a playoff hockey game.
Yeah, I'm always down to get together in person and gloat. So,
And I
I
want to
do
make
like
fun of Braden.
Keep in mind, though, we will also be doing the gloat show for whoever does win it. It's your chance to come in here and rip the league apart on how bad they are and how good you are, right? So, yeah, it'll be a fun episode to be on. But this is what it's all about, boys. Some of you have seen this, have held it, have put your name on it. Others, you have no idea what the fuck it is because you never have a chance at it. That's what it's all about, boys. Excited. It's playoff time. This is the time of the year where all the best teams shine. So
Yeah,
the top
it's
seed
going to be
always fails.
it's going to be one heck of a ride, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the playoffs brings us. Who's going to get upset? Who's going to be crying? Somebody's going to be crying in the first round. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Yeah, someone will. I'm looking at you, Travis. No.
Red
Let's see.
man.
Let's see. Let's see what happens. Let's talk about last week's results because they were playoff impacting. This first result here, you got the Champion defeating Marriott Room 806 here. Channeling his inner Ric Flair. TVT needs some momentum after taking a tough loss against Le Champion. What happened in this match?
Oh man, your goalies were just on fire. 3 shutties, 954 save percentage, 6 wins. I mean, they carried you to victory. I mean, Travis had a good week. Travis usually doesn't lose goalie stats like this, but you killed it.
Winnipeg's been hot, right? So that benefits me since I ride the duo. But my players didn't really show up. Luckily for me, my goalies did. And yeah, I took away a victory that I could have did more to cement my victory on Sunday. I had 2 moves, but I'm like, there's nothing I'd rather from the waiver wire that would improve my team going to the playoffs. Like, I'll just roll the dice and see if I come out with the win.
Yeah.
And I did. So I wanted to send Travis a message that he's not in my league, and I think the message was received. TKO, Team RKO here. RKO defeating Team Rocket, solidifying your first round date with Le Champion. What happened here?
Injuries and bad goaltending. Yeah, I've been plagued by injuries. I had 4 guys out this week. And when your top 2 goalies are out, yeah, this kind of result you're going to get. He took a couple goalie statistics by the skin of his teeth on me. Yeah, it solidified a first round matchup against you, Shane. Actually, the last time I made the playoffs, I played against you, so I'm in familiar territory here.
It was the second round that we met.
The second round, yeah, after I upset Sean of all people.
Yeah, I like that. I remember that. It was great fortune for Team Ramrod back then.
Yeah, so I look forward to defeating Ovechkin again.
He's mad. He's mad about that. He came out, got what, 2 goals the other night?
He did.
What a beast. Oh, both on the power play. What a nice guy.
Yeah, just a beauty of a guy. But I look forward to beating him again. Yeah, I took a tough loss here. That cemented me in 7th place and a date with you.
Which is a great way to spend your week, in my opinion. But
yeah.
NA Goalie Paradise, 11-2 victory over fantasy hockey, or fantasy football, sorry, is over. I guess hockey's over for him too, but
yeah.
What happened here?
Yeah, Derek's team is just terrible. He sold, obviously Case sold too, but Casey still has a far better team than Derek. And it was good because Casey was able to finally get his first win in 10 weeks. So
just kind of crazy season for him.
Yeah, for sure. And I expect like bigger things for Casey next season. Once he does his draft and he's able to, solidify a better goaltending situation for himself.
Maybe not
But
even
good.
solidified better, just like his goalies will just need to take that step to be full-time NHLers, right?
Yeah.
He's got these couple goalies who are up and down in the minors. Like they're gonna get there. It just when do they click for him?
Oh, exactly. So good win for Casey. No big surprise. A good way to end the season.
Yeah, I agree. Like good way to end and make sure that Derek knows that he's still below you in 15th.
Yeah.
I forgot about Dre doing Dre things and defeating Daltry. The Beef tying the league record for most wins in a season. What happened here?
Yeah. I mean, Dre doing Dre things, solid goaltending, solid players, like a plus 23. A shutout, a 937 save percentage, some pretty good stuff. Good enough to get him a nice 11-2 victory.
I know he has the most wins. What's the most points? Do we know?
I
Do his two
I don't
ties put him above that record?
I couldn't say. I don't know.
Stat guy, can you check what the best record was? I'm wondering if Dre has the best all-time record because he only has 3 losses. How many losses did Sean get that year that he had 17 wins?
Yeah, I could probably tell you in a minute here,
All right.
but go ahead.
We'll let Stat Guy look, or you'll look it up. I was trying to give him some homework, because he's probably stressed about his playoff matchup. Wild Husky hockey. No surprise here. Losing to Mentally Bedarded. It looked close for a bit, but Kyle coming out on top here, solidifying a playoff spot. What happened here?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle gets get into the playoffs by the skin of his teeth here. Braden was putting up a good fight at the end of the season, so no big surprise that he made it close. But Kyle was finally able to pull it through. It was a really interesting week because on the one day, it like the standings changed so much where like Kyle was in eighth, but then he dropped, and then Domo was in eighth, and then Domo dropped, then Patches was in eighth, and then Patches dropped when Kyle retook the lead. So it was a bit of a wild ride this week.
It's nice to see at the end of the season that there's some fight left in these teams who are trying to get in, right? I think that's our most interesting playoff race all year long. I thought last year was really good. I think this year was even better.
Yeah, so I got that answer for you.
Oh,
Um, he does not have the best all-time record.
oh,
The best all-time record is 17-2-2. I think they played one less game.
yeah. So same
Yeah,
amount of points.
yeah.
Same amount of
So
points, just one less week.
yeah, I found the last couple of seasons they're doing the shorter weeks at the start instead of the longer weeks that they used to do. I think that's what the difference is.
Yeah, I agree. This season didn't have that double week at the start.
Yeah, I prefer not having the double week. I'm not a fan of it.
I'd rather the double week than like a 3-4 day week. Like
Yeah, well, 3 4 days is short. Like I'm okay with like a 5 or 6.
yeah, but anything other than that, like just make it a double week, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Patches finishing the year off with a win to finish in ninth place after defeating the dumpster fire. What happened here?
Patch's team showed up, and it's really unfortunate. That he's not making the playoffs. He had a great team. Like he had 19 goals this week, 31 PIMs, 5 game-winning goals. He has a solid team, and he could do some damage in the playoffs. Yeah, he had a 942 save percentage. This guy could do damage in the playoffs, but I think he pulled a Daltrey once or twice this year and cost his entry into the playoffs.
I feel like he should have been a playoff team with the roster he had. Yeah, he made some mistakes that cost him some points in the standings throughout the year. So lessons learned, I hope, for him. And who knows, maybe he'll bounce back next year and return to the
Yeah,
playoffs.
I do legit feel bad because like that one week they started games on Monday at like 1 o'clock, which is it's pretty unusual, right? And
Only
a
because
few
of a
people,
holiday, right?
yeah, a few people got caught off guard, and that ended up costing him the week and a playoff spot apparently.
Yeah, that's a rough way to lose it.
Yeah, for sure.
But bounce back next year, Patches. Neil picking up a big win against Corey here. This was a playoff position battle. What happened here?
Um, yeah, Neil had a pretty decent week. Corey had an average week, but this is a really close back and forth battle. They tied in shorties. They tied in power play points. One penalty minute separated them. One hit separated them. Uh, like Corey made 218 saves to Neil's 191, both insane numbers. Uh, so yeah, they had a really like back and forth battle here. Neil edged this one out to solidify third place.
Big win for Neil. Set himself up with a date with Dan. Yeah, and Corey with Travis, right? So
Yeah,
I don't know who I'd rather play out of those, but
it's pretty well the same to me.
yeah. Fetch me a drink. Limping into the playoffs after losing the Domo. What happened here?
Yeah, Domo had no quit in him, and at one point this week he was in eighth spot, but unfortunately, somebody had the Braden bye week, and that trumps all. Um, yeah, Domo put up a 958 save percentage, a 119 GAA. 16 goals, not too bad. Enough to just edge out Dan. Dan didn't have a bad week by any stretch of the imagination, but Domo proved why he's a tough team, even though he's not in the playoffs.
I think for a lot of teams, Dan probably included at this point, though, they're like, it's not worth making the ad drop if it makes my team worse going into next week. So there might have been some like garbage time decisions where you're like, it doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, I could fight for this win, but what's that really doing for me?
that's it, right? Um, I agree with that, and yeah, you're better off not throwing away a good player for something that doesn't really matter, because like the positioning for Dan was really inconsequential. You're playing another good team. It doesn't really matter who. Like roll the dice.
So, with that done, our predictions are pretty much over for the season, minus like our playoff rounds, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Regular season, though, I'm going to give everyone stats, but the only ones that really matter, I'm going to say there's going to be about maybe three or four of us because the others maybe participated 1 or 2 weeks. But of the ones who participate regularly, you had the highest percentage with a
Okay.
61%. You went 68 for 112.
All right.
Not bad.
No.
I went 104 for 176, so I had a 59% prediction rate, which I will take because I did every week.
Nice.
Plums did 96, so we had 46 of 96, so we had a 48. And then Corey did a significant amount too, a 34 out of 72, a 47%. But the highest percentage we had was Travis participated 2 weeks and he finished with a 69%. He got 8 right in his first week, followed it up with a poor performance, but good enough to walk away with 11 out of 16 overall. So
Oh, there you go.
we have a few other people who participated once or twice, but they're not worth mentioning. Fuck you guys,
Yeah.
participate more. You had some stuff you want to kind of review, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll go over the power rankings from the beginning of the season and see how right you were. These were your power rankings.
Yeah,
So
please.
yeah. So you predicted that you would be first overall. And it's pretty close because you finished second. You predicted that Dre would be second. He finished first, not too bad. Uh, you predicted Corey would be third. He ended up in fifth. And I mean that this is really tight going to the last week. He could have ended up in third. We're talking 1 point separating him in third. You predicted Neil would be fourth. He ended up in third. You predicted Dan would be in fifth. He ended up in sixth. So far, so good.
I think it's the
This,
middle where I really get wonky.
yeah, so this next one is a little wonky. So you predicted that Sean would be sixth, but he ended up all the way down in 11th.
Yeah, I did not expect his team to drop off like it did. So
Well, nobody predicted Ovechkin would have the season that he had, right?
No.
So, not a bad prediction. It's just nobody saw that coming from Ovechkin. You predicted that Travis would be seventh, and he finished fourth, so that's pretty close. You predicted that Patches would be eighth. He finished ninth, right? Had he
Yeah.
set his lineup, he probably would have finished eighth.
Damn
You know,
you!
uh, this one, this one's a little bit off. You predicted that Derek would be ninth. He finished 15th. You predicted that Daltrey would be 10th, but it was Daltrey Sr. who was 10th. You predicted I'd be 11th, but I was 7th. Not too bad. You predicted that Mark would be 12th, 13th. Pretty close. You predicted that Case would be 13th, finished 14th. You predicted that Plums would be 14th. He finished in 8th.
I think that's the
So
one further off. Meh.
yeah, that and
Maybe
Sean, I
Domo.
think. Yeah. Oh yeah, because he predicted. Yeah. He predicted Braden would be 15th. He finished 16th. And then Daltrey Sr. is 16th, and he ended up 10th. So there's probably like three of them you're a little bit off. But I think overall, that was pretty solid power ranking. I give you a 9 on 10 on that.
I'll take that. There's a couple teams that's just unpredictable. I didn't know how Domo would play with what he drafted, but he moved his assets around a lot and got good value, right? So I think that really played a factor in him having a better season than I anticipated.
Yeah.
I thought Derek would be able to ride those Boston goalies to close the playoff contention. It didn't happen that way, you know?
No. And Bergeron retired on him too. So I think that hurt his keeper base.
Yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, solid list. Nothing wrong with that. So I developed my own power rankings for the playoffs, like I've done the last couple of years.
So this is based
And
off of everything that actually happened in the year, right?
yeah, so what I do is I go back and I do an aggregate score from when the trade deadline happened, and then I do I'm like I rank people like who's best in this category, and then I score it. So you get a score between 1 and 8, and in a given category. If you're the best, you get a 1. If you're the worst, you get an 8.
This is just with the
Essentially,
playoff teams, right?
just the playoff
Okay.
teams. So the lowest score is the one I predict will win the cup. In the last 2 years, they have won the cup. So I predicted Mark and I predicted you based off of this way of tallying
Formula.
things, this formula, right? This year is really close. It's really tight. So right now, my power rankings, I have Nick Sose number 1 with a score of 50.5. And second, I have you, Shane, with a score of 54.5. In third, I have Neil with a score of 57.5. So pretty close. And fourth, I have Travis with a score of 65.5. In fifth, I have Dan with a score of 68.5. In sixth, I have myself with a score of 69.5. In seventh, I have Corey with a score of 79. And then I have Plums in eighth with a score of 95.
So most of them kind of fall into where they are in the standings. A lot of them.
Yeah, for the most part. So like you know, 1, 2, 3, and the only one that's a little bit off. Actually, no. The only ones that are off are 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
And the rest fall into where they are. Mine would probably be higher if I did not have injuries the last 2 weeks, but the injuries caused my score to drop off quite a bit. So I feel that throws it off. But yeah, that's my power ranking. So my prediction for who's going to win the cup this year is Nick Sosian.
It's a bold move for you to pick the guy who tied the best overall record we've ever seen.
Yeah, right.
Some bold
Hey,
predictions going
hey, the
on
math doesn't lie. The math doesn't lie.
here. I mean, we all know that it's not all just math. Like things have to work your way. Um,
Yeah.
I think we said it before, right? Our first seed is only won once, or have they ever won? I think we talked about.
The only number 1 seed who has won is Nick Saucier.
So yeah, but I'm hoping someone takes them out, if not me. You know.
No, no. You never know. I don't think it'll be Plums, but maybe somebody else.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So it's like rank based on, yeah, like you said, you just had a score rank 1 to 8, so the lower score is better because you have the top ranking in those stats, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I could reverse it and have a higher score, but it's all the same
yeah,
nonsense.
exactly. Yeah. Some interesting mathematics just that happens to fall into our standings for the most part.
Yeah, in previous years, it hasn't fallen into our standings so nicely. I
Teams
think
were
this is
overplayed or sorry, um they underplayed, they overplayed, like it was just all over. It
or
seemed like everyone's playing their average of where they finished.
yeah, or well, like the 1 year where Mark made some big moves at the trade deadline, and he was way lower in the standings, but the trade deadline really boosted his team, which is why he finished at the top of the rankings that year.
Yeah.
And I guess people just didn't really see it coming. So
I didn't see it coming. Like I did not think he would go through Nick and then Neil, like and then
yeah,
me.
he went through quite the gauntlet.
Yeah, he earned that win. He earned that win. I must say, I don't like that year. I find it's a blemish on this beautiful trophy, but um, but he won. He earned it. He won. He went out, and good for him. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Ah, do you have any more things that you want to review?
No, I got my predictions for this week, and I think I do have other things, but I'm going to save them for next week.
That's good because we will need something next week.
Yeah.
So we do have predictions that people sent into the chat or sent to me directly. And, I'm going to bring those up as we're going through our matchup reviews here. This might just be easier for me to do this. All right, first matchup. The Champion, Team Ramrod in second place here, the second seed taking on the seventh seed Team Rocket. Kyle, who do you have?
So keeping in mind that I'm limping into the playoffs, I had like critical injuries. I had to drop good players to fill gaps. Markstrom is still injured. Um, it doesn't look good for me, right? So I picked Shane to win 9-5 against me. However,
Very specific.
I I do have a glimmer of hope, and I'm hoping that Kachuk is out for the rest of the week. And I'm hoping that injury plays into my favor. But I definitely had you winning.
Wow. I don't wish injury upon your players. Um,
No, fuck you, Shane.
But you know what? I appreciate the vote of confidence in Team Ramrod. I'm also going to take Team Ramrod. But most of the league besides us did not agree.
No,
Four-
I think people don't want to see your name on the trophy in there, and I have been known to be a giant killer. So like there is some history of me taking out top seeds.
That's fair. I
Yeah,
was a beneficiary of one of those. So,
yeah, help pave the way for one of your championships.
but 4 out of the 6 other members who chimed in, have picked you.
I hope they're right.
I
Thanks,
hope
guys.
they aren't. I'm going to
I think
feed off
I
their
think them
hatred.
cheering for me caused Kachuk's injury.
Yeah. Kachuk's going to play tomorrow. We know it. They already said we can't rule him out. Like, we're going to see how he feels at practice. If he's practicing, he's playing.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see.
Second matchup, we have TVT and his name of the week, Marriott Room 806, taking on Saucier Pass. Who do you have here?
I got Travis winning this one 8-5.
8-5. I also went with Travis. And I just think, I don't know, I just played Travis last week. His team played really well. The Oilers have been on such a run.
Yeah.
Skinner's going to help him. Hyman and Nuge are going to get some points.
Travis has a solid team. I have a lot of confidence in him, and I do think, you know, I don't want to say he's a dark horse, but I feel like he could beat anybody in this league. Does he have the same kind of team that you and Nick have? No, but he has a team that can compete week to week.
He's definitely a threat, right, to win
Yeah.
it. I don't want to inflate his ego here, so I'm not going to say too many positive things about him. But no, I think his team's really good. I just saw. I'm not trying to knock on Corey's team. Clearly, there's like what a point difference between them. There's literally 1 point difference between them. It could
Yeah.
really go either way. I just think with the way Edmonton's been playing, it kind of gives um, Travis a little bit of an edge, and that's where I voted. Most of
Yeah.
those, though, 5 out of the 8 that sent in their info went with Travis. 3 choosing Corey.
Oh, did Corey choose Corey?
Corey chose Corey.
Okay. There you go.
And so did Dan and Plumidor.
Oh.
Forgot about Dre. Taken on. Mentally bedarded. Who do you have here?
I mean, like, Kyle limped into the playoffs. It's not like he charged like a bull out of nowhere. He limped in. Like he shouldn't even really be here, in all honesty. Um, and he's Kyle has some good parts to his team, but the good parts to his team uh, are the same parts that are really good on Nick's team. So I'm predicting a slaughter here, like 13-2.
He's already saying that he has injuries like Marner and a couple key guys, right? So it's already not
Oh yeah,
looking great for him. For the record, he's the only one who went against Dre. Everyone else picked Dre to win, which I agree with. You should always pick your team. Like, yeah, I believe in your team, right? Um, but yeah, I'm going with Dre. I think Dre has a better team than Plums, and
yeah,
like you said, for those exact reasons, he limped in, and Dre is just he's been playoff ready since week 3. Like,
yeah.
Neil versus Dan. Now this is a good matchup here. Who do you have here?
So I picked this obviously earlier in the week. Uh, I know I picked Neil to win 8-6. I don't think Neil's going to win any longer because of the injuries. But I did pick Neil to win 8-6 initially, so I'll stay with that. But Neil's been hit hard by injuries. It's really unfortunate. So I think that Dan's going to win because of those injuries. But I had picked Neil.
That's what I mean. Like anything could really happen, right? Injuries happen, and all of a sudden, a team that you thought was unstoppable is like, there's some weakness there. I went against Neil. I went with Dan. I like Dan's team, especially since he picked up Shesterkin. I think that's been
Yeah,
a really good ad for him. I liked his team before. My whole gripe against his team was that he didn't have a goalie. Now he's got
yeah.
goaltending, so now I think he's actually like a legitimate threat to win. And that's not saying that Neil's not. But when you have two Titans battling, someone's got to go down.
Oh, that's it. And I had this being a really close match. Um, but unfortunately, Neil has injuries now, and I think that's going to tilt the match into Dan's favor at this point. But like I said, I picked Neil at the beginning of the week, and I'll stick with that.
Well, it's out of the 8, it's 5 in favor of Dan and 3 for Neil.
Yeah. Ooh, those injuries are tough.
Very tough, right? They can ruin your whole season, especially if they're the key players. So, um, that's just part of it. Is managing those roster spots. And if there's a guy he's
Yeah.
going to be out for a bit, if he's going to be out for the next couple of weeks, you might as well drop him unless he's a keeper.
Well, that's what I did. Well, I dropped one player at the beginning of this week. I dropped McTavish or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Jim
Um,
McTavish.
yeah, McTavish, because I'm like, I have no idea when he's coming back. And I had to drop a couple of injured players at the end of last week to prepare for the playoffs, just to clear up my lineup. And obviously, I have two of my keeper players are injured, Fantilli and Markstrom, so I can't drop any of those guys. But Markstrom's supposed to come back at the end of the week, so I might get one game out of him, hopefully. But
Oh, I hope he doesn't. I'm telling you now. I'm gonna just like your hope against Kachuk. I hope he just doesn't play. Hope you get
you know
nothing.
what? You know what? If Markstrom doesn't play, I'm okay with that. If that means Kachuk's not playing.
It's
Uh, Yeah. So I came into the playoffs limping in, and that's why I'm not overly confident. If I had my same lineup from 3 weeks ago, I'd be like, fuck yeah, I'm taking you fucking down. You're like, I'm not even going to call it an upset. Like, I felt like my team was just as good as yours, 3 weeks ago, when you didn't have Freddie Anderson back. But things have, like, 3 weeks is like a lifetime in hockey and fantasy hockey. Things have changed massively. And, I hope I pull off an upset, but I'm not
Freddie's
overly
been
confident.
hot. Freddie's been hot since he came back.
Yeah, he's been fucking good.
He's got like a 960 save percentage since he's been back. Like,
It's ridiculous.
I love it. Makes me regret not keeping him after this year, but he's just too unpredictable. He's too unpredictable.
Well, that's it.
He
It's
sat out
like
my IR from November 6th until like March.
no,
The
he's
playoffs are coming around.
he's a fucking Vegas guy, man.
That's
Like,
it.
he sits out the whole regular season and then he shows up for fantasy playoffs.
Yeah. It's because we didn't want to finish first seed because the first seed doesn't win. And we know that.
Yeah,
We gotta finish lower, but we still gotta finish high.
yeah. Well, we'll
I think
see.
Freddie's a
Because
secret weapon though for me. I love it.
yeah, no, you're definitely in a good position here. The playoffs are really tight. I think this is the closest the playoffs have ever been. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. I'm gonna dispose of you and move on to whoever next. I want Nick in the finals.
Yeah, I mean, that 1-2 again, right?
The 1-2 in the finals back-to-back years. And get the second place to win again. It'll be great. Nostalgia.
You know, the last team that Nick lost against was me. So I'm hoping that the next team he loses against is also me.
I'll keep your faith
I'm
alive
watching.
here.
Chuck's going down, injured.
No.
Going to devastate you this week.
Kachuk's playing and he's going out and he's going to get me a Hattie.
You're going to get Hattie, eh?
That's what he's telling me. He's like,
Okay.
"Put me in, coach. I'm fucking ready." It's fired
He's
up.
ready. He's ready for the bench.
Ah. Any
Going on
closing
the iron.
words, buddy?
Say again?
Any closing words?
No, man. Good luck to everybody except for you, Shane. Fuck you.
Yeah, feeling is mutual, buddy. Like I can't wait to just annihilate you. Oh, I'm gonna feed off the anger of the league because the longer I'm alive in the playoffs, the anger these people are gonna get at Team Ramrod.
Yeah.
I'm the villain you guys need. Keeps you motivated.
Yeah,
So heroes like Nick can rise out of nowhere.
I can't wait to see another cameo.
I got different plans this year. This year for my next
Okay.
championship.
I look forward to seeing what those plans are maybe next year.
We'll have some fun though with the playoffs. Hopefully, hopefully it's a good run. I want to see some good hockey, some good, tight matchups for our fantasy league. I don't want to see a bunch of blowouts. I want to see some like competitiveness. Right, this is the best of the best. Let's have great weeks, boys. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back next week. Kyle in Shane in victory.
One last thing. Who's got tiebreakers? We didn't talk about tiebreakers.
We did not. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm going to say you have tiebreaker. Dre has a tiebreaker.
I don't know who has a tiebreaker in the other matchups, though.
I don't know who has those tiebreakers. No, I don't. I'll have to look that up because that might play a factor this week. We don't know.
It might because I expect the matchups to be close from here on out, right? So
yeah. All right.
Good luck, everyone, except for you, Kyle. Fuck you.
Peace.
Feeling my line.